Drivers speeding by may not even notice the two-story house, yet its wide porches seem to beckon visitors. Sit a while and enjoy the breeze at historic Whitehall Pauley Mansion. A retired military couple, Keith and Robin Muschalek, had already bought a home nearby when they saw this in 2014.
We did not know what this building was. We thought it was a dance hall.
Everything was in a state of dilapidation.
And I said, I'll come back to Texas if this could be our retirement project.
Old house, like it, let's fix it up. We had a lot of energy like 6 years ago.
Robin Muschalek says it made perfect sense.
We've always loved old houses. We love history. We love community. We love antiques.
It certainly took plenty of both love and energy to take on decades of neglect.
It took a year and a half just to pick up trash.
There were 6 abandoned cars. Luckily, the previous owner took most of them with him.
But by then, they'd begun to uncover what time had seemingly forgot.
Oh my goodness, this is a historic gem.
Says so on the historic marker. The house was built in the late 1840s by Joseph Pauley, one of the original settlers brought to Texas by Stephen F. Austin. Yet what it doesn't say.
If you read that marker, you would have no clue that this was a slave plantation.
Yet it should, says Muschalek, to reflect the reality of the Cibolo Valley in what was then a part of Bexar County. Plantations were drawn to Cibolo Creek as a source of water for their cotton or other crops, even cattle. Joseph Pauley's would be among the first of many to come.
Cotton planters came from Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and the Carolinas, intending to establish plantations in the image of the South.
Nearly 40 parcels along Cibolo Creek identified by LostTexasRoads.com show where the plantations were, who owned them, and how many were enslaved.
And Pauley's just one. He's a medium-sized plantation of 20 or so slaves.
About a third were like the Pauley's plantation, says the website's creator, historian Alan Cosson. He says the Cibolo Valley was as far as the plantations made it into the U.S. and one of the last places in the country where slavery existed.
So the significance of the Pauley plantation and the other plantations along the Cibolo is significant.
And we want to make sure that's part of the history we tell of the house.
A part worth telling is about one of the rooms off of the breezeways that go down the middle of the house. It's the bedroom where it said Robert E. Lee slept when he was a U.S. Army colonel before the Civil War.
If that's true, that's incredible.
The cookhouse is right there, so the enslaved people would bring the food from there to here.
Along with artifacts and antiques the Muschaleks acquired for what's become a museum, they also found Joseph Pauley's will.
Having each one Negro girl slave in their profession, giving an enslaved person to one of his daughters, each of his daughters, they get to choose.
Joseph Pauley is buried in the small family cemetery across the road from the mansion, leaving the Muschaleks to wonder.
Where are the graves of the enslaved that die?
African slaves were no longer property to be considered as wealth.
And what about after emancipation?
Where did they go? And we're finding all these freedmen colonies. Dozens of them are around us. We just want to know more about the enslaved people.
And this was this house. Wow.
Visiting the Pauley Mansion for the first time, Pastor Ray Warren was surprised to see, among the enslaved identified so far, there they were, his wife's ancestors.
And their last name is right here, the Niases. Hers is right here. Right here. So yeah, I got some news for her.
A revelation that began with the couple's curiosity.
People don't meet us without hearing about this house.
And all the work they put into it for visitors to tour and learn.
We believe it's the first Thanksgiving in this room in 1854. A lot of this history would have been lost had we not preserved the house. This house will stand here easily for another 100 years. That's our contribution to the history of the great state of Texas.
In Wilson County, Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
Hello, everybody. Stefania Jimenez here. Thank you so much for watching KSAT's YouTube channel. Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.